Can't you believe that? I can't. But anyways, so let's talk about. I want to talk about the game on Sunday before I bring in our Lakers fan here. I want to talk about the Mavericks for a second. Okay. So the Mavericks. Why? My question is, what happened? You blew a 27-point lead in the first half. What happened to y'all? Where was the defense? Where was the consistency? What happened? Where was the 3-point shooting that y'all are accustomed to making in the first half? It was no show in the second half. How are you going to blow a 27-point lead and say, you know what, we're okay with it? Or at least Jason Kidd said we need to grow up. Jason Kidd, first of all, you need to grow up. You need to grow with your rotations. Your rotations have been awful for all this year. This is why the Mavericks are 32-30. Because of you. You don't take the blame for the silliness that you put on this roster. Look at this. Look at you got. Let me name the players, okay? You got Luka. The first the first 50 games he was doing everything by himself, okay? Then you bring in Kyrie. Okay, fine. Fine. It wasn't the front court player you wanted, which I was advocating for a front court player, superstar. But, they seem to mush. Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. They're not mushing well, guys. And so you bring in Kyrie. Then you start Dwight Powell, who was getting cooked by Anthony Davis. Yes, Anthony Davis cooked Dwight Powell in the post. And all of this season, I was advocating Dwight Powell to start. This guy was physical. He lost his physicality this game. Actually, he lost it 2 weeks ago. Listen. This is not about player personnel. This is about players being in the weight room, working on the intangibles. That you don't have big Anthony Davis bullying you around on one leg. Like this guy can get injured easily, and Gabe knows that. And so, with that being said, this is an awful season for the Dallas Mavericks. No matter where you put it at, the Mavericks can go 22-0 throughout the rest of the way and say, you know what, we had a great season. But these guys, what is wrong with these guys? They don't take responsibility. What is wrong with Jason Kidd? Jason Kidd blames the team for his nonsensical rotations. Jason Kidd, you cannot continue to put Kyrie in the starting lineup defensively because teams will expose him on defense. Great player on offense. Defensively, it's not going to work. Luka, great player, but stop talking to the officials all the time. You spend more time talking to the officials than to play on the court. This is why you are a liability on defense. You can't work it out. And you're saying you need to grow up? You traded the best defensive player on your team. Help me make that sense. Help me make sense of that. It's like I just don't understand this. And everyone says we want to win a championship with two superstars. You got to play defense first. Without it, you're not going anywhere. Without it, you'll be in the draft lottery like my Spurs. We haven't defended a soul this year. That game against the Mavericks was a disgrace. I'm ashamed. Like I go in public, I just want to hide because it's like one player does not make a difference on your team. It does not. It has never had. And for the Spurs to get blown out like that, it's very disappointing. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of going after Victor. I'm tired of going after the Scoot Henderson, which, many people will say, you know what, he'll fit in the Spurs system. These guys do not. Victor might fit, but Scoot does not. But you're going to draft him because of the name. And by the way, we'll talk about Brandon Miller in a second. By the way, that guy should never have hands on the basketball ever again. But we'll talk about that in a second. But that's my little Spurs rant of the day. I'm going to talk about that later on a different episode when the Spurs season's over. So, with that being said, everybody's been talking about the Lakers. Stephen A. said, hey, the Lakers will make it to the play-in or the playoffs. You guys, I was talking to a guy at work the other day. He took it a step further. The Lakers may make it to the NBA Finals. And I looked at him crazy. I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? Are you okay? And then Gabe, I can't remember what he said last week. He said we can get to the play-in. I'm like, excuse me. What is wrong with you guys? Like, are you smoking something? Like, this is the 13th seed. You don't give the same energy to any other team that has in the 11th, 12th seed. Right now, we have Portland and New Orleans have the 11th and 12th seed. You don't give the same energy to them, but you give the same energy to the Lakers. Come on now, man. Come on, man. But it is what it is. They said 40%. I'm like, I just told Gabe 42%. LeBron went down with an injury. And I want to talk about that in a second, but I want to bring Gabe in.
So you going to say all that and then just bring me in after that?
Yes.
Now I got to respond to that.
Yes.
You know why we care about the 13th seed?
Why do you care?
Lakers?
Why do you care?
Because they have
a 13th seed.
Okay.
Why do you care?
Okay, you know why we care?
Yes.
Because they have the greatest player in basketball.
Yes, I did. I
Period.
agree with that.
That's
Yes.
it.
Yes.
That's it. If LeBron wasn't on this team, we've seen it with other Laker teams.
Yes.
We don't care.
Right.
We don't. I'm being honest. And I am a Laker fan.
Okay.
I'm just a realistic one. Like, I understand that
Yes.
we're not a finals competitive team. Now, we're not going to be an easy out for any team
Right.
that we go up against because we have the greatest player on the planet.
Yes.
So that's the thing. Like, if it wasn't LeBron on this team, nobody would give a damn. Okay. Just being honest.
God, I'm like, okay, well then I can take you out of the equation then. So nothing's wrong with you.
No,
But-
nothing is wrong with me. I just am. I'm still a fan, so I would hope for the best. I'm also a Cowboys fan.
Yeah,
You got to keep that in mind
I am a Cowboys
too.
fan too. I am a Cowboys fan too.
I know, but I'm using this as a reference to say they're the same.
Right.
Teams are exactly the same. They get your hopes up for a little minute. At least the Lakers win sometimes.
They do. They do.
but
They got
they-
29 wins.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
they get your hopes up. They let you feel like there's potential here, and then they drop you right off the cliff. It's the same thing every single year. So I'm a glutton for punishment. Clearly,
You're taking a lot of punishment. You haven't taken a lot of punishment as I have. We have lost 15 straight games. I've taken a lot of punishment. But so we just talked about the Lakers stealing right now. LeBron's good. They're saying 2 weeks. We'll check him out in 2 weeks. Let's see what happens in 2 weeks. But that injury on Sunday afternoon seemed like to me it was going to be about a 3 week span.
yeah.
Coming back.
It made me nervous when he was on the ground saying, "I heard a pop."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, damn!" It's just, it's always something.
Right.
And I know, LeBron is getting older, and I understand, there's gonna be things that happen. He's getting to that age, it's inevitable.
Right. He's played a lot of minutes. He's played over.
He's played the most minutes of any player in NBA history, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, or something like that. So,
He has.
and to be still playing at this level at 38 years old, 39, however old he is,
38.
38. Yeah, it's just a testament to his work ethic and his greatness. But at the same time, Father Time is gonna catch up with you at some point.
Yeah, he's committed. He's committed to the game.
Yeah, he is.
You got guys that are like less than 30 years old that are not committed to the game. He has.
And I think that's the scary part about this new NBA, right? Like, we don't have a lot of players who really come from playing for a purpose, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of these players today, they've been playing just solely because they have talent to play. And you can tell that it's talent more so than passion.
Yeah, I see that.
It's more so they're surviving off of talent versus passion, because it's easy to develop certain skill sets that fit into today's NBA. It's not, I don't want to say it's not hard, because you do have to work, but it's definitely an easier path to.
That's the key word, work.
Yeah, exactly.
Work is the key word.
And so it's getting to the NBA is definitely an easier path than it once was, just because of the style of play.
It
opens the door for more players. No.
No, I was just thinking because when you say that, it's like I always go back to the rule of, the players have to go to college first, and test it out before they jump to the NBA. When you said that, that immediately went to, when you turn 18 or 19 years old, you go to college, play for one season or two or three, then you go to the NBA, and let's see what happens from there. And so the other reason is I say work is because we don't see a lot of guys that are putting in the time. Yeah, like you say, the work and talent has to mush together.
Absolutely.
If you're working like these other older guys are, then it's going to be in a safe place.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's going to be, the NBA will be in a safe place. Right now, it's just chaos.
It's chaos because, and we got off on a tangent because we're supposed to be talking about the Lakers, but
I'm sorry.
I do think that it's just a different culture it's deeper than just the NBA. The NBA is a reflection of the culture, the world that we live in, and it's everything outside of what I do for a career is what's important to me.
Exactly.
Type of thing. You get what I'm getting at?
I get what you're saying.
It's just a different culture, and I don't know what would have to shift in order for the NBA to look different. Because I even noticed that more so with the All-Star game and All-Star weekend. I was like, nobody's invested in this. Yeah. Nobody cares. I could tell it was just thrown together. Everybody hates Utah. Nobody wants to be there. Like, like that's what I got watching it. Like, I was watching all of these events, and I'm like, nobody wants to be there. These people just got there on Saturday morning, and now you're competing in the 3-point contest, like Saturday night. Like, you did not want to be in Utah at all. Right. Like, and I get the NBA has to restructure some things. I just think it's time to shake something up. I don't know what, but
the cities that are most attractive. I understand the NBA has like 50. Well, they have 30 teams in different states, but you can't put every All-Star game in every city because of the atmosphere.
And to that point, the Super Bowl, they don't even allow certain cities to get the Super Bowl. Like, we'll never see a Super Bowl in Buffalo. That's for a reason. Like, that's in their rules. Like, we're not going to Green Bay. We're not going to Chicago. Like, it's not profitable.
That's true.
Like, those cities are not profitable. At the end of the day, they're great football cities, and we love and appreciate them, blah, blah, blah. But
because of their teams.
Yeah, because of the teams and the culture that they've created. It's a very family atmosphere. All of that stuff, that the core values of the NFL and the sport of football.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't want to go there. If I'm going to the Super Bowl, and if I'm going to hang out Super Bowl weekend, I don't want to be there. It's cold in February. Same thing with the All-Star game. The All-Star game is in February. Why would I want to be in Utah in February? Especially when I know the history of Utah as a black player. And 95% of the league is black. Right. Just use common sense.
That's the commissioner and his buddies that want to put the All-Star game in every state.
I think there's a thing about being too inclusive. And I know that sounds crazy.
He's too inclusive there. He just wants to do things to celebrate the brands of those cities.
But he also tries to appease everybody, and that's what I see. It's not even necessarily celebrating the brand. He's a pleaser, and you can't please everybody. Let Utah be mad. Let Toronto be mad. Let some of these places that nobody wants to go for in a major event, let them be mad.
Exactly.
And just create a great event. Like, just make it a good time.
Right.
So that's my thoughts on that.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. But that's a good point. So this Lakers team, right? We look at LeBron's injury. 2 weeks they're gonna reassess and say, hey, in those 2 weeks they're gonna be playing a lot of games, including the game tonight against Memphis and tomorrow night against OKC. So that's one of 3 back-to-backs left they have.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, we talked about this, 10 minutes till we got on. What I want to hear from you, and I'll give my takes of where the season should go.
Yeah.
Right now, in the next couple of weeks, or maybe 3. Where do you see the Lakers going from here in the next 2 weeks?
I think just from a morale standpoint, knowing that LeBron is going to be out for a bare minimum 2 weeks.
Okay.
I think they're going to start looking around and being like, hey, like, what are we really capable of? Look at this roster. How far can we really go? Because 2 weeks at this point in the season, that takes you into mid-March.
Okay. So that's March 14th. So around that time, they'll check on LeBron's status.
Yeah.
But you know,
with LeBron, I can see it just being a 2 week thing. He's back out there because it's LeBron. But given history, but the problem is he's older now. So I don't know what his recovery time is. I don't know what, because LeBron is that's a different thing. I can't compare him to every other player. So his injury recovery trajectory, I can't even speak to because he's a freak of nature. So
yeah, he showed it the other day. But.
Yeah, so I do think that they're gonna have to be really intentional with how they plan. Darvin Ham is gonna be, if he can get them to just at least 500 in the stretch.
500
in the stretch without Brian.
Okay, 500.
Let me go see who they got. Let me go see 500. Who they got.
But I'll say my take while you're looking at. You know what? I told a couple of people yesterday. I told them it's over. But waking up this morning, I told you 42% they make the playoffs. Reason being is because you got guys like Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, you got Troy Brown, Anthony Davis. If we had Anthony Davis, the old Anthony Davis, which he was barely injury prone, then they have a chance. Anthony Davis had 30 and 15 against the Mavericks.
Yeah, he did.
The other night. Like he was on one the other day.
Well, my worry for Anthony Davis, not to cut you off, I'm sorry.
No, it's
but
okay.
My worry for Anthony Davis is that he's going to overextend himself, and then by the time
LeBron gets back, that?
Because I've seen it before. He's gonna do the most. He's gonna play outstanding during this stretch, but then by the time LeBron gets back, he's gonna tear something, or he's gonna hurt something.
But your depth is weak.
It is weak.
Your depth. You're talking about your depth. You're talking about going to the end of the match. You're going to talk about Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba is only good for a song. I'm sorry, but he's not an NBA player. I'm sorry. He's good for one song and one song only. That's a one-hit wonder.
I hate that song.
Yeah, that song. It has a good beat to it, but that song is weird.
It's so annoying. Anyway,
it's weird. But no, these next 2 weeks, I know you're checking to see what they have.
Yeah.
Darvin Ham has to be that stricter coach. I think this game, he did a phenomenal job coaching the guys up. He hasn't been the best this season. I think this season was the worst because he's been controlled by LeBron. But I do think and Russ.
Yeah.
So you got rid of the problem, and LeBron's not the problem, but it's just you're the head coach of an NBA team. You got to take control. You got to take when LeBron's out, you don't have that extra ear.
Yeah.
In your mind saying, hey, do this, do that. Darvin Ham has to show himself.
Yeah.
Just like Chris Snyder in Utah, which they gave him a 5-year contract, which he don't deserve in Atlanta.
I agree.
And so he has to get into the mindset holding guys accountable. What else? Well, Troy Brown Jr. has got to play. He's supplementing the minutes that Malik Beasley gets. Malik Beasley gets about 30. Yeah. At least right now he's going to get at least 35 on a good day.
Yeah.
If he's shooting the ball, if he's making shots, which he's here to do, then he gets 35 minutes plus. If he's not making shots, he gets about 30 and under. Troy Brown has to make plays on both ends of the court because it can't be Jared Vanderbilt that's playing one-on-one defense.
I agree.
I mean,
Jared Vanderbilt is our best defensive player.
He is
by far,
but he needs help.
He does need help, and I think again with LeBron being out, who I consider our second best defensive player, even though he does have lazy moments. But
yes,
he gets the right to do that. He gets the right.
Everybody gives him the right to do that. I mean, everybody
because
gives
at this point in your career, like, dog, I'm tired.
Right.
I've been at this for 20 years. Like, it's.
But he
crazy.
Still gets the job done.
He does get the job done. He does what he needs to,
and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I think with our second best defensive player being out, the pressure is on Jared Vanderbilt to play lights out on defense. Like it's.
You know what I feel like? I feel like he's going to pick up cheap fouls.
I think so too.
In the first half in that game, he picked up two fouls, cheap fouls. He could have had at least one.
Yeah.
But he kept. But when he's on the bench for a long period of time, it didn't happen this game because the Mavericks didn't take advantage of attacking the basket.
Yeah.
And I feel like teams like Memphis that does attack the basket. I feel like teams that OKC, which they may not have Shai Gilgeous. I just found out they may not have him tomorrow.
Really?
I found that out from Undisputed. They may not. I didn't know Shai was hurt.
I didn't either.
Huh.
Probably
he played in an All-Star game.
It was probably them damn boots. Hate them boots. But yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know.
And then who else? Who else did they have on the third one? You're checking.
Yeah. So next tonight we got Memphis.
Okay, Memphis.
Then OKC. We go to OKC on Wednesday.
Okay.
We got Minnesota after that.
Okay.
We got Golden State.
Okay.
Memphis again.
Okay.
Toronto.
Okay.
New York. And New Orleans. That'll take us to the 14th.
Okay. So if I'm looking at this correctly, I'm gonna give you my record. If I'm looking at it correctly, you got a 4 or 5 game homestand after the OKC game. It's tough for me.
It is 5 games at home.
Okay. I'm going to say during that stretch, how many games is that? That's 7, right? Or 8? That's 7?
1, 2, 3. Yeah, 7.
Okay. Give me. I did say this. Give me 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
Yeah, 3 and 4 in those next 7 games, because I see them losing to Memphis twice, only because the quickness of Memphis is going to kill them.
Yeah.
Even though on the board, Shooter. They have Shooter too.
Yeah, he's going to have to step up soon.
He has to step up. Yeah, he's going to be playing more minutes. I feel like what Memphis portrays is that they don't shoot the ball well, but they do get out and run.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to kill their timeout. So I think Darvin Ham was going to put the pressure on to get back on defense, and because they're dangerous in transition.
Yeah.
Especially John Morant. And so I do see them losing both games to Memphis. I do see them winning against OKC, even though that is a road game. If
they don't have Shea, they're losing.
They're losing.
They're
Josh
losing.
Giddey is the only guy they have outside of Shea.
Yeah, I know. If they don't have Shea, they are losing.
Okay.
So, and that's to anybody. Like,
You think OKC can beat them? Was what they have, because they don't have their roster is not that it's not that it's not attractive to me.
It's not attractive at all. I'm not a believer in OKC the way a lot of people are.
Really?
I just don't see them because they're such a young team, and they got there's a lot of talent there, but it's like young talent, and it's kind of how I feel about Sacramento. Like, I'm not buying into Sacramento and all the
Really?
hype. No, because
Sacramento has the highest offense in the league, Gabe.
I know,
What?
but I'm not. But come playoff time, keep in mind, I'm talking about come playoff time.
Okay.
Experience plays a role.
Yes.
Experience plays a massive role.
Yes.
And the teams that they will be beating in a 7-game series, I just don't see it happening. Because you got to think, they're at the 3 seed right now, if all things ended, they would start with Dallas.
Oh, they'll beat Dallas.
They can beat Dallas. They have
They'll beat Dallas.
They have the ability to beat Dallas.
They'll beat Dallas, Gabe. I'm
I
telling you
can't-
right now, they will beat Dallas, Gabe.
Okay.
Because
That's
the reason
your
being,
opinion.
Dallas is inconsistent.
I agree.
They're defensively, they don't know what to do on defense.
I agree with
Yes.
you.
Go
But
ahead.
my thing is, Dallas has the potential to do what everybody thinks they can do. They just got to figure it out. This team just got together. We just being
Figure it
honest.
out.
They got to figure it out. They just got same thing. We haven't
are
even
they
seen
figuring
KD
it out for?
in Phoenix yet.
No, you're right. You're right.
That's what I'm
You're
saying.
absolutely right.
So
You're
they have
absolutely
to gel. They have to get their chemistry right. They have to figure out how to play. I mean, defense is not a thing for them, but they got to figure out how to play some semblance of defense. Figure that out. I don't know if they have the time to do it, but I'm saying they're not gonna be an easy out. It's just the reality.
They're not gonna be
And
easy outs.
Sacramento, I don't know if they're built for a run in the playoffs. I just don't.
They're not. They'll get past the first round because of Mike Brown's coaching.
Yeah.
Mike Brown will. That's the reason why
That's why they're in the position they're in.
right. That's the reason why their defense is horrible. I'm talking about Sacramento's defense. It's horrible. That's why you give up 175. You do not give up 175 in an NBA basketball game. I'm sorry.
I've never seen that before in my life.
I never seen that either. I never seen that either. And they won't celebrate moral victories. That's a moral victory right there. You do not celebrate that. I'll be very pissed. You're telling me on defense you give up 175 points?
That's damn. Like, that's closer to 200 points than it is.
Dude, I'm like, dude, what is wrong with y'all defensively?
I've only seen that in the All-Star game.
Yes, not in an NBA regulation game. What is wrong with y'all?
That's embarrassing to me.
Like Sacramento should be a fool in themselves.
Yeah.
Darren Fox, DeMontis Sabonis, Malik Monk, all those guys, Harris, all those guys, Doug Christie should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, that was.
How you going to give up 175 points to the Clippers team
That
that
was-
only has 3 players?
That was very embarrassing.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not. Nonetheless, I'm not a believer in Sacramento.
You're not a believer in Sacramento.
But for the same reasons, I'm not a believer in OKC. It's the youth, and Memphis as well. Like, Memphis is the
No, I
same
understand.
story.
I understand.
Like, I just
I
don't
get it.
have the belief in these young teams because, one,
Okay.
superstardom is going to come into play.
Yes.
Jokic is going to come into play.
Jamal Murray's going
to come into play.
Aaron Gordon.
Like, Denver is a problem.
Jackson.
Denver is a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Phoenix can compete with that because of the fact that
Really?
they haven't played yet. I can't speak to it. Not to say that they won't, but Denver has been playing together all season. Even last season, it's pretty much the same team. Like,
Yeah.
They've had time to cultivate their identity. The difference between Denver and Phoenix is Phoenix has star power, but they don't have an identity.
Right.
Who, like, Chris Paul is probably going to be the leader of that team from a leadership standpoint.
Right.
I don't know what that's going to look like because we know who KD, we know how KD operates. I'm just being honest. I just don't know. I don't know.
I see it. I see it in Phoenix.
Yeah. The Clippers, again, that's another team that I don't necessarily believe in because
I don't believe it in them either.
We've seen the Clippers before. Like, we know what they're gonna do.
They don't mesh together.
They don't.
You talk about identity. You don't. Russ is just a name. Paul George is just a name. Paul George is a superstar still, but when he plays, Kawhi Leonard is a superstar. When he plays, the key word: when he plays.
Availability is the best ability.
Thank you. And so, me personally, if I look at it this way, I agree with you, but you need to tell these analysts. I'm sorry. I don't want you to tell anyone. I'm sorry. These analyst people like Kendrick Perkins are saying, well, Memphis should come out in the West. In what world? In what world does Memphis get out of the West? I'm sorry.
First of all, Memphis is not disciplined enough to come out of the West.
What world?
If we're being honest.
Okay, you got John. Okay, let me give you a full synopsis on Memphis. You got John Morant, can't shoot the ball. But can attack the basket. You got Dylan Brooks who fouls a lot. You got Zaire Williams who doesn't know what type of player he is. Doesn't know. He doesn't fit in anybody's rotation. Jaren Jackson, I like Jaren Jackson Jr. I like him, but the consistency is what I worried about. On defense.
Yeah.
He's hell of a defensive player, but can he keep it up all 4 quarters? Steven Adams, he's no joke. Brandon, what's his name? Brandon something.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, with the braids. Brandon, I just said his name this morning.
I know.
Damn, I can't remember his name. Brandon Clark.
Yeah.
Brandon Clark is just a hustle guy. Xavier Tillman is a hustle guy. That's barely playing.
Luke Kennard.
Oh, they have Luke Kennard on there too.
They do.
Oh my God. Oh hell no. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work.
Dylan Brooks.
Hell no.
Dylan Brooks is gonna lose them some games though.
What's his antics?
He's gonna self-destruct.
What's his antics?
Because first of all, you got to think Memphis is not used to being in the playoffs. Like, they're not used to this. Like, that's the thing. When you have a team that has a culture of not being used to winning, that's why I'm saying with Memphis, Sacramento, and OKC, that's a consistent theme.
Right.
They're not used to this. They don't know what this feels like.
Right.
When you go into the playoffs, it's an environment where experience wins every single time.
Right.
I've never seen a team that had not had experience. That's why I'm picking Boston out of the East. Because they had that experience last year.
I agree with you.
They had that experience last year, and they playing with a chip on their shoulder.
They are,
and I like it.
It seems like every game, they're playing that chip with their shoulder, especially Jason Tatum.
Now, I pray that we get that Milwaukee Boston series. I don't know if it's going to be the Eastern Conference because they're 1-2, so I think they might. It might be Eastern Conference Finals. We'll see. I don't know, but I want that. That's what I want.
That's a good matchup.
I want to see that.
That's a good matchup. I like that matchup.
I love that matchup. Philly's going to self-destruct. They're going to self-destruct.
Really?
Yeah.
All the work that Joel has done.
Joel is great.
Joel has done all that work.
Joel is great. Joel is great.
And Jace Harden has settled down a little bit.
Yeah, settled down.
And now, who else? Tobias Harris has been a missing piece for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Who else did it have? Milton. PJ Tucker's been PJ Tucker.
Yeah.
He's been missing for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I
got Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl Harrell's he's been a bench warmer.
He's been playing well. Mac McClung.
Mac McClung's in the D League.
I know.
That's our G League.
He's on their roster though.
He's on their roster, but he's in the G League. He's on a 2-way contract.
Yeah.
But
I just don't believe in Philly either. I don't.
I don't either. I don't.
I just don't think that James Harden has the capacity
to lead.
I just don't, and that's what's needed. They need the leadership from the guard position. James Harden has never been that. He's been a scorer and an opportunist. Period.
But he's not going to score this. He's not going to score when it counts.
No,
when
he's
it counts,
not.
he ain't going to score.
He's an opportunist. The same thing I said about Russ, his MVP year. A lot of them triple doubles was opportunistic triple doubles. If you watch the game, you know what I'm saying. You get what I mean when I say that.
I get what you're saying.
It's not because you're really trying to set up your teammates and you're not getting it in the flow of the game. You're forcing it. That's why even with those assists, he had a bunch of turnovers because you're forcing the ball.
He did have a bunch, but they celebrated him, and which is why I say you should have got rid of Russ and John Wall together, because John Wall wasn't going to provide you anything.
Yeah,
Russ barely can't provide you anything. Russ just talks. He just talks.
And the thing about it, I think Russ is at a stage in his career where he doesn't want to be honest about where he is.
I don't notice that.
Yeah, I think he's not. He's fighting where he's at in his career. It's kind of like I've seen it with other players. I can't pinpoint who.
So do you think that players like that, right, that have never won a championship, don't have that championship, what's that called? Don't have that championship dog in them?
Yeah, I think when it concerns winning championships now, they know what the requirement is. And if you can't deliver at a certain level and you're not willing to take less money or come off the bench, really, because he fought that the entire time. If you're not willing to do those things and your talent is declining, I don't want to say declining, but it's not the talent. I don't know. He's not in the same space that he once was. I'll just put it like that.
That's a good point.
And so when you don't want to recognize that and lean into it and just play a role, then you're not going to be successful. You'll never get that championship. That's the same thing. Like with Tracy McGrady, right? I remember seeing him go from Orlando to Houston.
Right.
And then that transition after all the injuries and all that stuff, he transitioned and went back to Orlando and played his role. And they were in the championship. Like they lost. But he got the opportunity. Yeah. When you're willing to play your role, you can get opportunity. Right. The problem with Russ is that he's not willing to play the role. He wants to be the man.
He wants to start.
He feels like he still has that that thing in him, but he's never really had it. If we being honest, like from the time that he came into the league, I don't think Russ has ever had the drive to be the man. He's had the talent. I think the talent was there.
You want him to be the passenger. Is that what you're saying?
I think he worked best when he was a passenger to KD, which is why they ended up in the finals.
Here's my other argument too. They split up.
They did.
So why is it that they went ahead and split up?
Because they both wanted the same thing. They both wanted to be the man,
the driver.
They wanted to be.
So they fought over the.
They
steering
fought over the steering wheel. Exactly.
Damn. Man, I don't think anybody has that drive anymore. No. If we're really honest, like me and you, we have drive. There's other people out there that have drive as well. But if you talking about like players in the league that you're just starting out,
there's two that I can think of.
Oh, there's two:
Dame and Giannis. That's it.
I do see that.
That's it. Those are the only two left.
And that's why those guys don't celebrate. When Dame had 71 the other night, Dame wasn't looking for a celebration. He wasn't looking for water all over Porter. Well, actually, I like that celebration. Yeah. But he wasn't looking for recognition. He was looking for a ring.
Yeah.
Giannis, for his success, he wants another ring, Gabe.
Yeah. And the one thing I will say, Giannis has the potential to be something that we've never seen. Once LeBron leaves.
Really?
I'm going to tell you. Because, we all know LeBron is the face of the NBA, and I think Giannis is next. I think
Giannis is next.
I think Giannis is the next face of the
Really?
NBA. Yeah. Honestly. Once LeBron,
so it went from Kareem to Kobe to now LeBron.
yeah. Well, you forgot Mike.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Mike. Okay, so it went from Kareem, Mike. What's his name? What did I say? Kareem, Mike,
Kobe.
LeBron. Now Giannis.
I think Giannis is next.
Giannis is 28.
Giannis is 28.
Okay.
And you got to think about where LeBron was at 28.
Where was LeBron at 28? I think he
LeBron
was his first championship.
He went to his first championship at 28.
No,
that was
second
before.
one. It was the second one.
It was the first one in Miami.
The first one in Miami.
Yeah.
Yes, and he won that one at 28.
Yeah.
Giannis won his, I think, at 26.
26.
So
the trajectory is not that different.
no,
That's the thing.
It just depends on the
His
person.
supporting cast is better than what LeBron had in his early days, for sure.
For sure, yeah. Of course.
By far. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even comparing Sojourner Ilgauskas and Drew Gooden and Larry Hughes. And
No, the difference in their game, the difference between an Anthony Davis game and Shedrus Johnson and Drew Gooden is that Anthony Davis is, believe it or not, is quicker than both of those guys.
yeah, I would hope so.
He is.
I mean,
whoa.
I get what you're saying.
When healthy, when healthy,
saying, but I just
when
don't.
healthy, no matter the age, when healthy, he's quicker.
Like, did y'all watch Drew Gooden the way that I watched Drew Gooden?
Yes.
Drew Gooden was horrible. He wasn't horrible.
Yes.
But he was trash.
He was garbage. He was garbage, Gabe.
I'm trying to be respectful because nobody in the NBA is
Garbage
trash.
is respectful, Gabe.
It's garbage on the NBA level. I'll put it like
Yes,
that.
I would say that. College, he was fabulous.
Yeah.
I watched him in college. He was great.
Yeah.
In those Kansas, he
Him
was
and
the reason why-
Kwame Brown
Yeah.
were very close in
God.
in the race for
in the buzz.
Yeah.
In the buzz. He was going to win the buzz of all. But
Shout out to Kwame Brown.
shout out to Kwame Brown, man. He keeps it real. He keeps it real. He has a new career now. He keeps it real.
Yeah.
But no, but you know, okay, but you're right. So I look at these games, right, and I say, and I also say, well, I also say they beat Golden State.
Okay.
The reason being is because Draymond's out. I didn't know this either. I just found this out yesterday. I saw Draymond playing the game before the All-Star break. He's out. Now Steph is out till like what, the weekend and probably like that. So he may not play this game.
Yeah.
They only have Klay Thompson. That's it. Klay Thompson.
They've been balling though.
He's been balling. Yeah.
He's been balling. I think. Yeah, they're gonna have to get it together because they in jeopardy of not making the playoffs.
Where are they at right now?
They're in the play-in at 7, I think.
7 or 8.
Yeah, that's 7. So
Okay.
and
Okay,
everybody, like I said before, everybody's about a game and a half apart.
Okay.
So
I could
like this whole thing can shift so rapidly. Like even with the Mavericks being at 6, that's why I do see if the Lakers can get on a run, even with this little spin that we're in, they can hit the 6th seed.
So you realize if they go 3 and 4, which is right now, that's what, if I'm doing this correctly, 29-32. So that's 35. No, sorry, 32 and 36. It just depends where the teams are going to be at.
Because you got to think of who's in front of the Lakers, right?
Who's in front of them?
Portland, New Orleans, Minnesota, Utah, and Golden State. That's
Okay, so
And
Golden
Dallas.
State, Minnesota, New Orleans, right?
yeah.
And
Utah.
Utah's in 10.
Utah's at 8.
Utah's in 8. So
Yeah.
Golden State, Utah, Minnesota, and New Orleans.
That's what I'm saying. This whole thing is going
Holy
to shift.
crap.
Because
What?
Utah, Minnesota, and New Orleans are going to drop. You know that,
Utah, what'd you say?
right? Utah, Minnesota, and New Orleans are going to drop.
They're going to drop?
They won't be there.
Gabe,
They won't be there.
they're going to drop Utah. That start that they had in the regular season, the first 26 games, they went 17-9.
That's fine.
What?
You're talking about the beginning of the season. You know where we're at right now.
I know where we're at right now. I'm sorry.
Exactly. You doing all this loud talking and all that like they're supposed to do something.
What, Gabe?
I'm telling you right now, Utah. Even if Utah stays right there, right?
Okay,
that's fine.
Okay,
they can stay at 8.
All right.
Minnesota's out of there, and New Orleans is out of there.
Okay.
We just had this discussion before the show, so don't try to act brand new now.
Okay, I know. Okay, so hold on. So wait a minute. Okay, so I can understand Utah staying right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Utah needs to go on a run. You know, I don't see that happening. But
and if you don't see that happening, everybody's a game apart. That's what I'm saying. So,
I'm saying, okay. Let me explain something to you. Okay, fine. Utah can stay there. Okay, fine. Golden State can stay there. Fine as well. I feel like Golden State is going to get past Dallas. Dallas is going to be in that play-in game. Watch what I say.
Why do you feel that way?
Because the thing about it is, Jason Kidd, if you have not figured it out right now, by this time right now, we're talking about almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon right now, your season's gone to waste. I'm sorry.
This team has only been together a week.
Yay, but I know you got Kyrie. I understand that you're trying to fit him in the fold.
That's a lot
Kyrie,
to figure out at this juncture of the season. Like I don't want this to go understated because we're in the new NBA. Listen.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Phoenix and Dallas Mavericks have the same problem.
Okay.
They don't have time to gel. You got superstars who are inserted into new situations.
Yes.
With a team that may or may not have enough role players. They may or may not have this, but now there's not enough time to get what you need. So you really rocking with your stars.
What you're saying. I have to disagree with you.
You're rocking with your stars at this point.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, Dallas don't have. I agree from the standpoint that like I don't think Dallas is competitive. I don't think that they'll be competitive long term, like throughout the playoffs. I don't see that. I can see them making it.
You're saying.
But I don't see. I do agree that they could potentially be in the play-in game.
In the playoffs,
do agree.
Gabe.
Are you listening?
No, I'm listening to you.
What did I just say? Repeat what I said.
Oh, you said they're going to be in the play-in.
I can see them potentially being in the play-in. Yes,
okay.
I was agreeing with you on that point.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why you got all this energy.
Hold on. Okay, because you said the key word role players, right? You said that. You said role players for this Dallas Mavericks. On their bench, they have Tim Hardaway Jr. Another player they have is they could get Matthew Cleveland. Could. They have JaVale McGee. They have Jaden Hardy. They have Markieff Morris.
Okay, let me stop you.
Okay, go ahead.
I know who they have. The thing about it is I'm not saying they don't have enough or they do have enough. What I'm saying is they don't have the time as a team to gel. You're going into March.
I have a question about that, but go ahead.
Yeah, team chemistry. Look, it's hard to put superstars on a team mid-season.
Okay,
it's very hard to do that.
No,
I think that's something that goes understated in today's NBA because it's just a new NBA. It's a new style. It's a new thing.
Right.
Like you got players jumping from team to team mid-season. That happens all the time. How often do they win?
Not very much.
Exactly my point. So that's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
I that's my only point here. I think that those two teams, Phoenix and Dallas, the Achilles heel for them will be the fact that they did not have time to build.
Okay.
That's it.
But okay. Okay, fine. No, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dallas has a deeper bench. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said March is crucial.
Yeah.
It's crucial because you're in the 6th seed. You can be in the play-in, which honestly I don't see them make the playoffs. Reason being is because of the inconsistency. What you said is they don't have time to gel. Okay, so my question would be, when is the time to gel? When is that time to gel, Gabe? Can we go on a 4 or 5 game winning streak? Can we win like 4 of the last 5? When is that time to gel? Because we're in March. March is the time where the games start to pick up, and the seeding, like where they're at right now. You were saying like everybody's a game apart between 3 and 13. When is that time to jail? When is that? My question: when is that time to jail?
You know, I think that
for Dallas. I'm sorry. Before Dallas traded for Kyrie on February the 5th. I mean, I know Kyrie has missed 2 games during that time.
Yeah.
And so, but goes to the same question I asked you. When is that time to jail?
It's hard to say in the low management era. I'm being honest.
That's the low management era.
Because it is. It's really hard to say because we saw with PG and Kawhi. Like it's one of those things that if you're not available and you're not playing, how are we going to build any type of team chemistry? How are we going to figure out how to play together if we're not consistently available? Now, I haven't seen. I mean, like you said, Kyrie's missed 2 games since February 8th.
February the 5th.
The 5th.
Yeah, he missed the game in Utah because he's getting settled and all that stuff. Yeah. But he missed the game prior to the All-Star break because of the low back injury.
And that's
he still played in the All-Star game. How do you have a low back injury? Still playing in the All-Star game?
They be fabricating injuries. But I'm just being honest. We know what that is. So yeah, you wanted to extend your vacation. That's all.
That's a shame, bro.
And so to me,
3 days
again. That's my point. Like when you're in this space of low management, you in this space where superstars know that they're superstars. Like you get what
I get what you're saying.
Like they have this thing mentally where it's like, I don't have to do all the same stuff that you little peons have to do. I'm a superstar. I know, like Kevin Durant has said it. He's like, I'm one of the greatest players to ever play this game. To me, that was a red flag. Not to say that you shouldn't believe that.
Wait a minute. What did you just say?
He said, KD in an interview recently, he's like, I'm one of the greatest players to ever play this game. And I know that. He said that, word for word. So
okay, and I agree with that.
I agree. I mean, it's the truth.
I agree.
It's the truth. He is, but the bottom line is when you
get it goes to my point.
It sounds ego driven. It sounds very ego driven. And it's weak, and it sounds like a cop out. Like, dog,
it is.
Your talent is.
It is
supreme.
a cop out.
Your talent is supreme, but don't use that as a crutch for you not winning.
Right.
If you get what I'm saying, like
I get what you're saying.
You lean on that too much for me.
I get what you're saying.
Great. You have the gift. You were blessed with an incredible gift.
Right.
Like something that we've never seen at that size and that speed, that handle. Like that's not.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Superstars are starting to feel themselves a little bit.
But
and so now that's really the bottom line when it concerns load management. Like, dog, I don't have to play all 82 of these games. I can step in at any time and drop 30.
No.
I can step in at any time and drop 40.
No. And you can't do that. That's what you call selfishness.
But that's the reality.
I know the reality is that is what you call selfishness. That's why we're tanking, Gabe, in the ratings. They have the NHL better than us.
Yeah.
They want football every day better than us, Gabe. Yeah. We are NBA gurus. We want to see the stars play every single night.
Yeah.
Like whatever, like, okay, these guys here, and that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of, we have a long stretch in March. March is a long month.
Yeah.
We have a long stretch in March that these games, you and me playing on the back-to-back, and you don't have to play. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, dude, what is wrong with y'all?
Yeah, they act like these aren't crucial games. Like, we come into the last 2 months of the season.
Right.
Like, at the end of the day, y'all got to play. Especially these teams, especially in the West. Like, the East, okay, the East is the East. You got Milwaukee, Boston, Philly. Right. That's the competition. Right.
You might have Cleveland, but
maybe Cleveland if they want to fight a little bit.
Maybe
the Knicks if they decide to fight.
We'll see.
That was a reach. But I'm just
see. That was a little bit.
But
We'll
you
see.
know what I'm saying. Like
I know what you're saying. Though. I see what you're saying, though.
I just think, man,
just because of 6-game win streak. But go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that the West is so tight from 4 to 13. Like 4 to 13 is just jam packed.
Jeez.
So
this is ridiculous.
Y'all gotta play. Like
this is ridiculous.
These games have to be played. Like whether y'all recognize them as crucial or not, to us as fans who really support the teams that we support,
right?
It's crucial. Like
it's crucial. It's like you don't want to go to the offseason and say woe is me and play the blame game of okay, we're gonna blame Jason Kidd. If Jason Kidd does not make the postseason, we're going to blame him. Yeah. You can blame the front office for not addressing this. Okay, first of all, the big man Eric Gabe is over. It's over. It's over. Anthony Davis is the last, bless you. Anthony Davis is the last big man alive.
Joel Embiid.
I'm sorry, my bad. Joel Embiid is the last big man alive. Like, we don't even know that these cats are in the draft right now, and further on, these guys are not big men.
No.
I just saw Victor get dunked on the other day in Euro. and I'm like,
but you gotta think we play a more European style of basketball now. Like we don't have like American style like basketball started with big men. Like started with Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem, those type of style players, Shaq. You go all the way throughout the eras, and you'll find a big man that fits that mold.
Yes.
Up until you get to today.
Joel's out there shooting threes, but he's making them. He's scoring efficiently, but
that's a requirement.
But this is ridiculous, man. It's like, man, I want to see basketball. I know. Next week we're going to talk about the March Madness and all that stuff, the conference play, and the following week is going to be March Madness, which I'm looking forward to watching all the conference championship games. I'm looking forward to that. Those guys will play, but Gabe, it's not my cup of tea. I watch those games, and those guys. No disrespect to the college basketball game, those guys go after it. They go after it every play, and I'm like, these guys don't take a play off. They get every other game, every other day is a game.
Yeah, and
I'm like, okay, that's different. But when you get to the NBA, you can do whatever hell you want.
Yep,
and that's why I get so upset because I look at guys who are committed. I look at Tom Brady, who's committed to football for 23 years. I look at LeBron, who's committed to basketball for all his life.
Yeah.
I look at Dame all his life. Like, Dame is no joke. People will say, well, Dame should leave Portland. I'm like, why? Dame said he wants to stay there and win something.
Yeah.
You guys are not putting the right tools around him to do that. You're putting him a bunch of young players and say, here you go, Dame. Make these guys useful.
Yeah.
And for the most part, he's done his job. He's done his job. You can't ask him more of what he's going to do. Then you got Giannis. Giannis, he hurt his knee the other day, and he hurt his wrist. Now, they can win without him. I don't know how much, but they can win without him. And they're on a 14-game winning streak. So all this energy that y'all are spending time on the Lakers' success, that mini 3-game winning streak, and you're not focusing on Milwaukee's 14-game winning streak. So with that being said, more respect to Milwaukee. But I know it's a crucial time for the Lakers, and I want to shout out to all the Lakers, the LeBron haters out there.
Why would we do that?
Why? because they want him to fail. They're finding another reason why LeBron should be on the court. Like, I ran into this yesterday. I watched the replay of it, and it was that time where LeBron was on the court, on the floor, hurting in pain. And someone walked by and said, I'd like to see LeBron fail and all that stuff. And he's the worst. And I just let him walk off. Because I don't want to say anything.
I realized that, like...
You ran into those LeBron haters, have you?
Absolutely. And I realized that you can't argue with them. because it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like especially now, they're running out of things to talk about. Like they're running out of.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah, they've run out of
They are
rebuttals for things. At first, it was he hasn't won a championship yet. He's been in Cleveland for 7 years and hasn't won a championship. We got swept to the Spurs and all that kind of shit. Then he goes to Miami, he wins one, but he needed a super team in order to do it. He could only do it alongside D Wade and Chris Bosh. He couldn't do it by himself. He goes back to Cleveland. Now it's at that point, it was weird. Like, you couldn't even really pinpoint what they was mad at because he went back to the very same team that he started with, won a championship, and then now it's like, what do you say after that?
Right.
Then it's like, okay, well, he still had Kyrie, and Kyrie made the last shot and all of it. Like, dog, I've heard it all.
Right.
And being a LeBron fan, I've heard it all.
Right.
Even going into the Lakers, they don't even talk. They talk about the bubble. Yeah, he wanted in the bubble. Nobody really wanted to play. Nobody wanted to be there. So it's always going to be something.
That's what counts.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, let them hate. Right. Haters gonna hate, and at the end of the day, it comes with the territory of being one of the greatest to ever do it. Period. Tom Brady got haters too. Michael Jordan got haters. Deion Sanders had haters.
Yep.
Anybody you can think of.
Look at them now.
It comes with the territory.
Right. And let me and don't you run into those haters and they'll tell you about their personal life and how it's not successful for them.
Yeah, exactly.
And so,
and now it's so funny too because the only thing that they bring up is Michael Jordan was 6-0 in the finals. That's all that you ever hear now. Have you noticed that?
I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed
that. That's all that you ever hear now. That's
Michael
all that they holding
Michael
on
Jordan
to.
played all the games.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
That's all that they holding on to. I'm like, dog, y'all are running out of rebuttals.
Right.
Y'all are running out of hate.
Right.
And it's so funny to me. Like, watching Skip Bayless talk about LeBron, he can't even like really go full on hate mode no more.
He has to jump out and share it to get his point out.
Yeah, exactly.
And all that, and make it, the whole world hear him.
All he talk about is free throw shooting.
LeBron has improved that. He's improved that every season. He's improved that.
Yeah,
every season.
So again, haters gonna hate.
Haters are gonna hate. Players are gonna play.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Yep.
3LW. That's a '90s song, Gabe.
Trust me, I know. That ain't got nothing to do. That was my joint.
I love it. I just heard the song the other day. But no, but that's what I wanted to address briefly. I said, you know what? And you know what? Karma's a bitch, right? That's what it is. Karma's a bitch. LeBron has played this game for a whole entire life. He's the all-time scoring leader.
Yeah.
Hey, he's won a couple of MVP awards. He's been to the finals. At least you could say he's gone to the finals.
Yeah.
At least you could say he's committed to the game.
At least you could say he took a team that should not have been there to the finals.
To the finals.
Like, people just let stuff just go right past them. Like, dog, I saw this person with Kyrie, Kevin Love out. You're working with J.R. Smith. You dropped 55 points on the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant and almost win game 1. At the end of the day,
that's crazy.
Nobody can tell me nothing about LeBron James.
That's crazy.
You can't tell me. You can't sit up here and tell me that Michael Jordan would have took that 07 Cavs team to the finals.
No, he well.
You can't tell me that.
You can't tell me that. No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not realistic.
No, it's not.
There's very few players ever that could have taken that team because that team. Without you take LeBron off of that team wins probably 17 games. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, that is a really, really bad team. I
understand that.
Like, before LeBron got there, they had Darius Miles. Like, and he was the star of the team.
That's a joke.
So that's what I'm saying.
A waste of a #1 pick joke.
That's what I'm saying. So I just think people need to really put things in perspective. That we're watching probably.
We will never watch this.
We will never see a player like LeBron
James. They say Luka, but Luka doesn't have that work ethic.
Nah.
I seen Luka has more of the baby work ethic. every time he drives the drive, it's like he's being touched, and I'm like, I wish these officials just get him out of the game because it's just getting too much. And I'm not a Mavericks fan, Gabe. I just feel like I watched Luka's game. He's fabulous. He's great. But at the same time, dude, like, these officials are not going to call every single foul. You are not anything yet.
Yeah.
Will never be anything yet. You will never have a statue outside the ACC Center. Like, as much as people will disagree with me, you will never have a statue out there because you don't put in the work. You want to work when Luka is when Luka is there.
But let me stop you real quick.
Yeah,
how do you know that he's not putting in work? How do you know that?
How do I know that?
Yeah.
There's a few instances, Gabe. When he shoots those long 3-point shots, and that's the only criticism I give towards him. Mm-hmm. Those long 3-point shots at the end of the shot clock, when the Mavericks have no offense, no possession, they have passed the ball numerous times. You got Tim Hardaway trying to drive to the basket. You know damn well that man cannot drive to the basket. You got Dwight Powell trying to set a screen for Luka. No. Luka is going to continue to sit back and step back for three. To me, that annoys the hell out of me. When you put in work, what is working, you have to go with it. What works is him driving to the basket. What works with him is just trying to take the step back three. What works is putting your man down low and making a fadeaway jump shot. To me, that is. I mean, I'm not saying he's lazy or anything. Mm-hmm. I'm saying consistent work. If that makes sense.
I think it's a basketball IQ thing. I think we got to put in perspective this dude is 22 years old.
23. 24 today.
23.
Oh, happy birthday, Luka.
Happy birthday, Luka.
24 today.
Yeah, so he's 24 years old.
Yeah.
He's young. He's been playing in Europe since he was like 13 years old.
Yes.
Didn't do the college thing in America. He's learning to play NBA basketball
right now.
Still, I mean, his talent supersedes it, so we don't notice it. But his IQ is still trying to get his feet on the ground. You know what I'm saying? I think we got to stop pressing these young players. I think we expect too much too quick.
But Gabe, but let me say this, and I agree with you. Mm-hmm. If you press these young players, you press them, they're going to fall out.
I agree. They're not built for pressure.
So, to me, what would you want them to do?
I think
consistently, because they're in the NBA where no one else cannot get. No matter how much you put the work in, no matter how talented you are.
Yeah.
I want to see the consistent work. I want these guys to take these opportunities to heart. Mm-hmm. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want to see the consistent basketball every single night. Can I see that? I mean, you can play the worst. Dame Lillard didn't have to play against Houston and dropped 71.
Yeah.
He didn't have to.
Definitely did not have to do that. Houston is at the bottom of the West. So yeah, definitely didn't have to play that. But Dame is a dog like that. Like Dame comes from an old school cloth, and you can see it.
Yeah,
he was raised with some even just morally. Like I just hear him talk, and it's just he's very sound.
Right.
And so that's an anomaly though.
Right.
Dame, Giannis, anomalies. Like we're not gonna
see that.
We're not gonna see that from a lot of these players anymore. And Dame is not young. Dame is 30.
He's 31.
Yeah, so Dame is not young. He's a veteran. He's been in the league for a while. He came into the league at a time where it was early in the super team era. Like it's just different.
Loyalty.
His perspective is different because loyalty was still something that was being talked about. Now it's like, who gives a damn? Go win. Like, it's a free for all. When Dame came into the league, loyalty was still something that was like leaned on. Like, that's why there was so much hate for LeBron when he left and went to Miami. It's the same. That was the time period. So I think because of that, Dame leaned into that cloth that he was cut from. Giannis is an anomaly completely because he's young. He's young. He fits in this new generation of basketball players in terms of age. Him and Jason Tatum are very.
Oh, you forgot Jason Tatum.
I did forget about Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum's committed.
Yeah, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're committed. They were drafted there, so this doesn't count as the same thing, even though their talent is just it has potential.
Do you know
to be something
how much
crazy.
work ethic your boy has put in?
Oh my God, I can see it.
Have you seen that?
I can see it.
Wow.
You see the results of it.
I see it.
You see the results of it. He's at an MVP level this year,
man.
and I think that
He can win it.
I think he should win.
They're gonna give it to Jokic.
They're gonna give it to Jokic for a third time, and Jokic is not gonna win the finals. And so the problem I have with that's a whole nother conversation that you just open the door to, because I hate that. You're giving this MVP to Jokic. He's great. He's not deserving of it every single year. Like, bro, Joel Embiid should have won it last year.
He definitely should have won last year. The amount of work that Joel has put in. I mean, what more can you ask for? I'm gonna stop asking more of these players that we talk about. What more can we ask from you?
And I'm gonna tell
stop
you,
doing that.
I'm gonna tell you though, I'm noticing something with the NBA that's not sitting right with me. I think the NBA has a European agenda. They're trying to expand what our NBA is, and make it even more global than it already is.
You should.
And so the reason why I say this is because why would Jokic win 2 MVPs in a row and probably on his way to a third?
Because
it's not solely based upon his talent.
You want to satisfy an audience. Jokic has wherever his country is from. They want to satisfy his audience,
and that's my point.
Now, granted, NBA has a big headquarters in China, right? So in China, they're always going to vote for Jordan because they love Jordan.
Yeah,
they're always going to vote for LeBron because they love LeBron. They don't know Jason Tatum. They don't know Jokic. They don't know Joel Embiid. I mean, if you talk to people in China, half of the population will know all those 3 players I just mentioned. If I ever lived in China, I will say I'll give the MVP to Joel. Not this year. Last year I would have.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum was more deserving because Jason Tatum put in the work. Jason Tatum. It's hard losing the finals, and losing your head coach for that matter, and
it's a scandal.
Exactly, and so it's scandal that didn't even need to happen. But you got a young coach that said, you know what, I'm going to step up and take the rings, and you remove the interim tag from him, and he's leading. Like Boston never lost a beat.
Yeah.
Like the NBA has to realize that their audience should expand. It shouldn't go to one small country.
And that is my point. That you literally just stated my point. My entire point.
I took away your point.
No, you didn't take it away. You confirmed what I was already talking about. I think that the NBA has this agenda, right? Because they do want the global TV money. That's really what this is about. It's about global TV money.
Okay.
Not just domestic.
Okay.
It's not just Fox. They don't have a Fox deal, but I'm using them as an example. It's not just TNT. It's not just these deals that they have over. They're looking to expand globally. And so,
is that the reason why they're trying to add more countries to NBA games?
Yes, exactly. That's a part of it. Jokic winning the MVP 2 years in a row, probably a third, like you just said, is a part of it. Whether people want to believe it or not.
I'll be so mad if he wins that third.
If he wins this award, I'm telling you right now, their agenda will be clear. They'll show their hand completely, because I mean, and it's nothing wrong with wanting to expand globally, but the problem is when you do it at the detriment of honest voting. That's kind of my issue with a lot of these award shows too. It's very political, and they're doing it to.
From where? From the Grammys to
Grammys, Oscars, all of them, because they're all political. They're all relationship based. They're all, especially the Grammys, are label based. So you have to be tied to a certain entity in order to even be considered for certain things. So that's the thing.
God damn.
It's very political. Don't get it twisted. The NFL is the same way. It's political,
and that's the reason why you're forcing players to travel to a different country and a different time zone, like on a Sunday, and then you got screaming NFL fans that don't watch the games because they're sleeping when the games are on. So we gotta wake up on a Sunday morning and watch that at 8 o'clock, whatever the time is.
Yeah.
At 8 o'clock to watch that.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
And that's my point.
You just made me upset about that because I'm like, why? What are we doing? Trying to, I understand you're trying to expand your audience, but make it fair for everyone. Like, Joel is from Cameroon.
Yeah. Joel
wins the MVP. You can't play a game in Africa one day and Joel is not your MVP. I'm sorry, you cannot do that.
And the thing is, like, I just wish that we could have some honesty when it concerns his award, because LeBron was robbed of a couple too. We're being honest.
He was
robbed of a couple MVPs. I mean, again, agenda. You want the storyline. You want something that's different from the norm. You're creating a narrative. I get it. That's a part of business. It's a part of marketing. I understand it. But there's a lot of stuff that is solely based on their agenda and what they're trying to accomplish.
Okay.
And I think the MVP award is no different.
Well, you know how to change that process? Maybe you should just change the voting. The people that are voting right now, you should give them a tape, right? You should give them a tape of Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Jokic, LeBron even, those four do their homework and see who's your MVP. Because we can easily do our homework and we will know who should win that MVP award.
And to me, it's Jason Tatum by a landslide.
Oh, Jason Tatum, yeah, of course.
I mean, to me, it's not even a question.
Joel second, no Jokic third.
Joel would be second, Jokic would be third, probably Giannis 5. And then
who's your 4?
Did I not say a 4?
Nah, you said a 5.
Oh, Giannis is 4 and Brian 5.
Okay,
that's probably just, and Brian gets in at 5 because of the record breaking and all that kind of stuff. So,
the record. No, not the record breaking, but the record, regular season record. They're doing it by a regular season record, as you notice. The Nuggets were in the top 3 last year, and they still won the award.
Yeah,
that's what you call robbery.
I'm saying.
And so why can't, okay? So the Phillies in the third seed. Why can't Embiid win that?
He should be
award.
able to.
Why can't Jason? I just saw that Boston in the second seed. 2 seed. Why can't Jason Tatum win that? You realize you realize that Jason Tatum changed that whole entire Boston team?
Yeah. He's becoming the leader that we know he could be.
Yes.
He's becoming that very player that can be transcendent. I just think that it's gonna be interesting come playoff time. I can't wait to watch him play in the playoffs.
I can't wait.
I'm so excited. That's probably the most exciting team to me in the NBA.
Right.
I love Boston. Boston is damn near my second team. If I had a second team, it would be Boston.
My second team too. They always been my second team because from where they've been my second team since 2008. From where Kevin Garnett started, Paul Pierce, they've been my second team. The Spurs are obviously, hate to say that, obviously they're going to be my first because of the history and where we're at right now. It doesn't look good for the future.
looks very, very dark for y'all.
It's very dark because you know why? Because we got guys outside of pop art that are not caring. They're not caring about the culture. They're not building on it. Like you're just throwing a bunch of players together that don't mush. They don't mush. It's like, damn. It's like you don't. It's like the type of basketball that you play is like it's not on Keldon Johnson's level. It's definitely not on Devin Vassell's level. It's definitely not on Zach Collins' level. Like those guys outside of, I love Keldon Johnson. I love him. I love him. Zach Collins, I do not like. Zach Collins is not an NBA player. Zach Collins is more of a fashion designer than most. And like these guys, he just comes out of nowhere and doesn't ball out.
Yeah,
he does not, and that's why everyone says Victor. I just saw this man get dunked on in Euro, like dude, and dude, and like he is a talent. Victor is a talent, but I would not go there because I feel like I feel like he's not going to be the next best thing. And I'm sorry.
People don't understand the NBA is different.
Yes.
You can be a dog in one space and be middle of the pack in the NBA.
Absolutely.
Like that just happens. Like
absolutely.
It's just like that. The NBA is the highest level of basketball you can play. I mean, at least in my opinion.
Right.
And so just talent wise, whether we agree with load management, whether we agree with all the stuff that comes with the NBA or not, talent wise, this is the best talent in the world.
It is.
So you come over here and you got dudes over there dunking on you. I'm just being honest.
Oh my gosh,
that is a red flag.
And he's 7'4" too.
That's a red flag. You letting people at 7'4", you should not be getting dunked on. They can lay up. They can lay up on you. You know, and get a nice
shoot a floater.
Yeah, but you should never be getting dunked on at 7'4". But I realize a lot of those big tall dudes, they don't jump well.
They don't jump well, and you know, like I said, it'll be a risk thing to draft a guy like that. Even though he's talented, it is risk because you're trying to pour in 10 years, the minimum 10 years into one player. And today's NBA, you don't have that. Today's NBA, you might have at least 5, sometimes 4.
I think it's really getting closer to 3 to 4. For real.
It's a level of focus, Gabe.
It's a level of focus and the ability to move.
Right.
Like, these players have complete control.
Right.
Of where they go, how they go,
right,
with whom they go.
So we're going to be basically seeing them playing rec ball against a bunch of old Joes in the rec center, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
In the off season, but they complain about load management during the season.
They're gonna be playing all in the Drew League and all of that.
Trae Young, LeBron played in one game, but you got KD, you got all these other players.
Yeah,
they'll complain about load management, but they're gonna be playing in rec league. How come the NBA does not see that?
I think there needs to be like an NBA town hall with executives and owners and all that kind of stuff and players. So we can have an understanding of why load management is a thing. Because, to be totally honest, this was never something that was even a thought. Like, you played. Like, every time you go see a game, the players played. You go see AI in Philly, he's playing.
You're wearing your jersey, and then that player's not playing that night. That's sad.
That is completely disheartening for a fan. Like,
you wasted all. Like I said,
I went to the Mavs game when they played Memphis a couple years back, and Brian didn't play.
Who did?
LeBron. He didn't play.
Memphis.
No, I said the Mavericks. Did I say Memphis?
Yeah, you said Memphis. Mavericks versus Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I went to the Mavericks and Lakers game a couple years back, and I remember LeBron didn't play.
Was he hurt?
I think he was hurt, but I didn't know he was hurt. And just the feeling of like, damn, like I'm not gonna get to see Brian play. Like I've seen him play before, so it wasn't the end of the world. But I was just like, oh man, I came here for that specific purpose. Like it was a regular season game early in the season. Didn't nobody really care. So that's what I'm saying. Like for a fan, you go and especially if you're a kid and you don't understand like where's Where's LeBron? Where's
Right.
KD?
Where's KD? Where's Steph?
Where's Steph? Where's Kyrie? Like,
Steph is the most important one because Steph is inventing that shot. You know, every time I go to the gym and I practice on my game, I'm seeing guys, useless guys shooting a jump shot.
And I want to go on record and saying I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
That's the first thing they go. They walk into there. They
just launch a
the
three.
ball. Yes, they launch like they'll start mid range. The mid range is off. Then they go to the 3-point line. That's off. Then once you master the 3-point line, like in their mind, they master it. You go to the half court line and you start shooting jump shots. I almost back to my childhood days at 10 years old. The reason why I take that personally, because that happened to me when I was I think I was it wasn't rec. I was 10 years old. I was in the camp, little camp for elementary kids.
Yeah.
I shot a basketball. It was completely off, and then somebody older guy was walking in front at the bottom of the rim, bottom of the net, carried him box, hit him on the side of the neck. He started bleeding. Thank God he didn't pass. He didn't pass. He bled a little bit from the neck. And so my mom, shout out to my mom, I'm sorry. She whooped me. And you know when you're on those card rides, you know all those card rides, you know, like when you done something wrong at school, at a place, and you find out by your parents. You find out by your parents and
Yes,
you find out by your parents and you get whooped, and I was bleeding from her whooping me. And so I'm like, it was just a little blood here and there. So ever since then I took the game seriously.
That is the most ridiculous story I've ever heard in my life.
He was carrying the box, like he was carrying it. I think he was on his left side, and the ball came off and hit his right neck. So I'm like, how does this man bleed? Like it hit him, but the ball. I guess it was the ball. The ball wasn't even that hard. I don't know why he bled out like that. But I'm like, he didn't bleed out all the way. He just had a little bit of blood on his neck. I'm like, damn. It's like he was okay.
Okay, what's the moral of the story?
The moral of the story is that the game has to be taken seriously, right? That's the moral of the story. The moral of the story is that you got kids, you got adults like ourselves that wear jerseys. Well, I don't have a jersey myself, but that want to see these guys play every single night. Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about in March.
Yeah.
Because March, we got a bunch of games in March. That's the moral of the story. That's why I brought that up, because I'm like, you got to take this game seriously. Like, you take your music seriously. Mm-hmm. I can ask you, hey, Gabe, what do you think about Dame Dollar? You can give me a whole entire story. And I'll ask you, Gabe, what do you think they should play Damian Lillard's songs on the radio? And you'll tell me no, because okay. I'll let you answer that.
Wait. Let me find out you got some hate for Damian Lillard.
No, I don't have any hate for Damian Lillard. I don't have hate for Damian Lillard.
I'm talking about his music.
I don't have any hate for his music. I don't have hate for his music. I want to ask you. Yeah. You're the music major. Yeah. What do you think of Dame Lillard's music, and should it be played on the air?
I think Dame is actually a really good rapper. Okay. Now, song creation, again, I don't want to get too deep, but song creation is something that every rapper doesn't always possess. Okay. It's a totally different skill from the ability to rap. There's a lot of people that have the ability to rap, mm-hmm. and that are great freestyle rappers that can just rap and rhyme words all day. Mm-hmm. That's one end of the spectrum. But when it comes to song making, I haven't heard a song that makes me want to go back and replay it.
From Dame.
From Dame. It's not bad music. There's nothing about it that's bad. It's just like not something that I'm going back to, and it's not because he's an NBA player. I listen to music like totally objectively.
Victor, the one I listened to Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo is R&B.
He's an R&B singer.
Yeah.
So he does a very different style, and I actually prefer his music over his basketball ability.
Really? What?
I'm joking, but he does make good music. I have to be honest about that. He makes very good music.
Right.
Dame, on the other hand, he's a great rapper.
Right.
He's probably the best rapper the NBA has ever seen.
So would you say we have a lot of hip hop and art? Well, we got 2 in this metroplex.
Yeah.
I think every state has 2 R&B hip hop stations in the metroplex.
Yeah. I mean, we actually have 3. We have 94.5, 105.7. Actually 4. I'm tripping. K104.
Yes.
97.9. So yeah, 4 stations.
So should his music be played on the air?
I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, he raps well enough. His music is quality enough. Don't get me wrong. I just listen to things a little different.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, I just listen a little different. But yeah, his music is good enough to play on the radio.
Okay. What about Miles Bridges?
No, I haven't heard it. I'm just joking. I haven't heard anything from Miles Bridges.
Miles Bridges.
I don't know his stuff.
Okay,
I have to check it out.
There's just one rap song that I heard.
It's probably not good.
Okay. The video wasn't good at all. It was, and you know, I can't remember what he sang, but it was horrible.
This is all Shaq's fault. I'm just saying. This is all Shaq's fault. If Shaq didn't go platinum and get a record deal, none of this would be happening. Because after Shaq, we got Allen Iverson, which is trash.
Okay.
Allen Iverson's album was horrible.
Trash.
Okay. Kobe album, trash.
What about the song what's it called? Destiny's Child?
That wasn't Destiny's Child. That was actually Tyra Banks.
Destiny Child? That Say My Name remix?
That wasn't Kobe on the Say My Name remix.
Really?
Kobe wasn't on the Say My Name remix.
He was not?
No, he was not.
Who was that singing, that rapping? Who was that rapping?
Well, I'm about to find out, but I know for a fact it wasn't Kobe.
That was not Kobe?
No.
Dude, he had his face on
absolute
face and everything.
No, you're thinking of something different. Hold on.
What?
Who was on there?
That is crazy. Jeez.
Yeah, no, that was Timbaland. That was
Timbaland.
Yes, that wasn't.
So why is it that his name is there?
It's not.
Wow.
That was Timbaland and Static Major.
Well, guys, hey, he's a music major. I'm just a basketball guy.
But yeah, Kobe did a song with Tyra Banks, and it was actually pretty decent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay, I didn't. This is shocking news to me, guys. But I've been listening to the wrong songs for months now. But before we leave, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about. So we're getting to the NCAA tournament, right?
Yeah.
We're getting into conference play. So upcoming this week, we got the women's play. We got Pac-12 tomorrow. SEC, I think tomorrow as well. I can't remember. I know Conference USA women's is next week. Big 12 is next week as well. On the women's side. Men's side is next week as well.
Yeah.
All next week. So with that being said, Gabe, I want to get your thing. Have you ever heard of a guy named Brandon Miller?
Yes.
He's been talked about on the news quite a bit.
I have.
Okay. So, obviously, you know, Alabama is basketball. They're a pretty good team, but it almost, I always hear Nate Oates talk, and I remember him when he got hired after Avery Johnson. I said, this is a horrible hire. It's a horrible hire because he came from a Mid-American conference to go coach an SEC conference, which at the time, Alabama wasn't good in basketball. He made them He made them even better. Avery Johnson was on his 3rd year. They were starting to get to that point, but they didn't give Avery time. Mm-hmm. They were getting to the NIT and all that stuff, and I'm like, okay, you get to the NIT, you're there, you're almost there to the NCAA tournament. Yeah. I understand you want to get there, but give the man time. They didn't give Avery time. That's why he's out of coaching period. And so
they don't give a lot of black coaches time, but
they don't.
Continue, which is
they don't. But I remember him, in Buffalo. He took the team to the tournament. They had some momentum, but they lost in the Sweet 16 back in 2016, 2017. Mm-hmm. One of those years. He got hired. He's done a decent job, but this has been his worst job to date. Mm. Not addressing the young woman that died in the arms, in the hands of, well, not only his hands, but Darius Miles' hands.
Darius Miles,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Not the NBA.
I was
player.
thinking. I was like, wait a second.
No.
I was like, did I miss something?
No. Not the NBA player. The guy. So Darius Miles. They were out January the 7th, and there's another guy. Yeah. He was actually that shot the weapon.
Yeah, I remember the story. He provided the weapon according to authorities and all that. Yeah.
So he's played the last 2 games. Mm-hmm. I want your expertise on this because I'm at a point where I want to rip through the TV. I want to rip through my tablet that I watch. Every press conference I hear Nate Oates, he keeps lying to us. I want to hear what you have to say.
I just don't know. I don't know. Like, what do you do in that situation as a head coach? Like, knowing that this is the situation with one of your players. Like, knowing that, okay, he didn't commit the crime, but he was an accessory to it.
Yes.
Is that, like, what do you do? Like, how do you even rationalize that as a coach?
Gabe.
Because I don't think we give coaches enough credit, though, sometimes, because they have to fight battles that we don't even see.
They have to fight battles, but, okay. So here's my thing. Mm-hmm. Here's what I try to know as being a college player. Mm-hmm. The reason why he is playing now is because you have a student-led lawyer group. I'm sorry, a student-led legal group. Mm. Those students are practicing to become lawyers one day. Mm-hmm. And so those students are going to say, you know what, we can give him every reasonable doubt to play. Mm-hmm. If he was outside the campus in a different lawyer group, but is not college controlled, then he sits out, or he doesn't even, he's kicked off the team. Mm-hmm. And so that's more of the student base saying that Brandon Miller should play because he has more upside than the average Joe. Mm-hmm. My take is that man should never take the court. The reason being is, like you said, he's accessory to the murder. Mm-hmm. The man at that point, Darius Miles, wasn't caring about basketball at that point. Yeah. This man had an injured ankle and went out and did stupid things on that stupid night. You have so much to play for. You have so much money coming towards you. Mm-hmm. That you want to help your friend out that has no interest in improving his life.
And even on a deeper level than that,
yeah,
I think just how do you, I can't put myself in somebody's shoes, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because as a coach, if my star, or one of my stars, right, is under investigation,
yeah,
nothing is confirmed yet. Nothing. It's still a legal battle going on.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, let him play until the legal system figures out what's going on. because at the end of the day, we oftentimes let the court of public opinion decide the decisions that are made. I do agree that this was ridiculous and it should have never happened, and this was something that he should have never been a part of. And I feel like he deserves not to play. He deserves to sit down. But I'm saying in general, I'm kind of advancing the conversation a little bit because I do think that a lot of times when there's investigations and things going on with certain people and players and celebrities or whatever, we let the court of public opinion decide how we're supposed to feel.
Right, but that itself is a longer process.
It is.
And
it is.
That I listen. I don't want guys to lose out on opportunities. I don't want guys at all. But there's a time and place that when you see something wrong, just say, hey, and I know I'm going to be the third pick or the first pick or wherever that pick may be in the draft. I'm going to get like $50 million a year plus more. And I have to help my friend out who is out for the season, that doesn't have no interest playing basketball.
Yeah,
you gotta at some point you gotta draw that line. They always call it boundaries, right? They always call it boundaries. Say, hey, if I'm not going up, I don't need to rock with you,
right?
And so, and this is why to me he shouldn't be playing, and to me Nate Oates should be the decision to sit him down.
Yeah,
it's not the AD's decision, it's Nate Oates. And that's why I'm upset at Nate Oates, because you know what's happened. You don't I get why people are telling you don't address it. But the family wants to hear from you.
Yeah.
The family of that young woman that was killed that night wants to hear your apology, which you have not said yet. Obviously, Miller's not going to say it because he felt like he didn't do anything. But yeah, you were part of the problem. They just want to hear your side.
Yeah.
And these people here, I don't know what you call them. I don't know what you call them. But I'm telling you, do not address it. Yeah. Okay, fine. But if it costs you your job to go past that, then I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to address it. Like, you're not paying me none. I'm going to get the next job wherever that may be. Maybe in Texas, maybe in at a different SEC school for that matter. But I don't think he handled this well.
I don't think so either. I think I just think it's a tough job on coaches when things like this happen. Like, what? Even if I address it, what does that do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what does that do for the court of public opinion who's already made their decision already? You made your decision on how you're gonna prosecute him. You get what I'm saying? Like,
what you say?
In every situation we look at, like, we don't have control over what the people think. Even once the case is, let's just say it gets dismissed or whatever, like, in the event that happens, like, the court of public opinion still has already decided, so your life is forever changed. That's the danger of social media.
Yeah.
That's the danger of the world that we live in, because you don't get to make mistakes, or you don't get to even be in position to make mistakes and be proven innocent. You don't get that opportunity because of the culture that we live in. They're ready to indict people off the strength of an announcement. So I'm not, because this is wrong. At the end of the day, the coach handled this wrong. The staff handled this wrong. He should not be playing. He should not be on the court.
No,
I'm advancing the conversation a little bit.
He shouldn't be.
With what I'm saying. This has nothing to do with Alabama. Like, so.
He shouldn't be playing at all. But my thing is, he shouldn't be playing at all. No. I just feel like we celebrate the evil in this country. We celebrate people who have done wrong. Like, we celebrate,
and we get off on watching train wrecks.
Yeah,
if we're being honest,
we do.
We get entertainment off of watching people self-destruct. It's the sickest thing in the world to me.
It is. It's very
because
sick.
That's why reality TV is such a hit. It's drama.
Right. They want
We
the
love drama. We feed off of drama because it takes us away from our everyday life.
Right.
That's what this is.
Right.
We don't even see people that are in positions of light, whether it's celebrities, whether it's athletes, whatever. We don't even see them as humans.
They only get like 30 seconds of airtime.
Yeah.
They only get 30 seconds, which the other people get about 1 million of seconds.
Yeah.
They get it every single hour. And it's like, I don't want to celebrate evil anymore.
No.
I want to, like, if you're innocent, okay, fine, you're innocent. But when you're in that situation, I don't want to celebrate you. I don't celebrate. I just don't. I don't celebrate evil. I celebrate hardworking people, and obviously, the man's talented.
Yeah.
But would I want him on my team? Absolutely not.
Would you want Ray Lewis on your team?
Man, that's a tough one.
Because you see what I did.
You see,
It's the same.
I see what
situation.
you did.
Because at the end of the day,
I mean,
if they indict Ray Lewis in 1999 for the stuff that he did, and he was a part of and connected to, we don't see one of the greatest linebackers to ever play the game.
Don't.
So that's what I mean. We're in a space where we don't allow people room to mess up. That's the world that we live in.
Would you allow them to grow? Would you allow them to grow?
We don't. Not in our culture.
Not in our culture, but in '99, yes, you allowed Ray Lewis to grow. Ray Lewis is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
he grew from that.
He grew from it. So we gotta. I mean, again, we live in a world, instead of innocent until proven guilty, is guilty until proven innocent.
God damn, that's tough. You can't let a man get off. I understand what you're saying.
It's so much deeper than just this situation, because I've seen it happen time and time again, and it typically happens with black players.
It does.
With black people.
So let me ask you this. Like, well, I want to answer your question. Today, no.
Yeah.
Yes, in '99. But I want to ask you this question. So when he went through the line, the starting line, in basketball, you go through that starting line, they have their little tricks on and stuff. They did the pat down. Brandon Miller, and then some other guy did the pat down. How come as he's getting more rake than the guy that did the pat down? You gotta remember, the guy's a white player.
Yeah.
He's the one that patted Brandon Miller down the game against Arkansas. Brandon Miller is
explain this to me. I'm confused. So what do you mean by pat down? Like
the pat down, like
police pat down?
Police pat down, yeah. When the police pat you down, they're patting you down.
Yeah, to try to make sure you don't have weapons or anything like that. Exactly.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'll show you the video when we go. But when you go through the line, you're high-fiving everybody, and then when you get to the last person in front of you, you're either chest pumping or you're patting them down. The police pat down is what they went with, and they always did not like that.
I don't get it. I don't know why they would be doing that. Like, why is that a part of your intro celebration or whatever you're doing? Like, I just don't get it.
Thank you. Knowing that knowing that you got off easily.
Like, to me, that is just ignorant. Like,
very ignorant.
I can't even put it into words because that doesn't make sense. Like, I have to see it to understand what's going on. And even if I see it, I probably won't understand why they're doing that.
Right.
But I do recognize that kids are involved. So it's like, and I say kid, I mean, these are technically grown adults. But
you realize that he's not accepting any responsibility in this. You realize that he's deactivated everything. So we won't hear a word from him until draft day.
So that's, I don't get it. I just don't understand.
I understand.
I just don't understand it. It's so many things that I could possibly say.
Yeah.
But I just have to see it and get some understanding first.
No, I
revisit it.
No, but I want to say rest in peace to Dude, I can't remember her name. Such a shame. Janae. Yeah, her name. She was 23 years old. She has a 5-year-old kid.
Yeah. I can't remember her name off the top of my head either, but yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace to her and her family. We're sending all the prayers and the love to her and hopefully, that child lives a good life without the mother.
Yeah.
Which that right there we should be honoring, and not the player itself.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like I've been saying, karma's a beast sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But I want to thank you for your Lakers and your basketball knowledge today.
Anytime.
Yes,
That's what I'm here for.
So I guess the next 2 weeks is important for the Lakers.
To say the least.
We'll see what happens tonight against Memphis. It's on national TV. Here was out the greatest player. Was out LeBron, and we just got to get through it for the next 2 weeks and see where we go from there. But where the Mavericks go, I have no idea. My thing is, unless they show me in the next 3 or 4 games till we come back, then maybe I'll change my mind. Who knows? But that's our show for today, guys. But next week we're going to dive into some college basketball, Conference USA. The tournament time, guys, is here. It's here. I give you my full synopsis on it. I want to thank you guys for watching, listening to the Beyond the Game. My name is Jamie, and until then, we'll see you next week. It's Fishbowl Radio.